come across them
I don't know if
videos.
she's still here, because EQ did join the live, but I think she's gone now. But I wanted to ask her because obviously EQ was in Angie's box today and said that Angie's not said anything that is transphobic. But when Angie and Leona were going back and forth, Angie said that EQ is a P for standing by Leona, and then mentioned the fact she's trans and brought that two together. In my eyes, that's transphobic. I'm going to get the video, I'm going to post it so you guys can see, because this whole, like, the only thing that Angie has spoken about, on you go, you request, EQ.
You're making a mistake. It was just on that individual topic that she was discussing that I said what she said today when she said about the female toilets, in her opinion. Because she's a genetically born woman, then it's a woman's predominantly space, then she's entitled to her opinion. So it was only on that one subject. I never said she's never, ever, 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 ever. It was just that particular one, just to clarify for you.
Have you seen this video?
I really don't care, though. It's like there's too much importance on tomorrow, you know, with the other trans community. So what people have said in the past is in the past, and it was last year or the year before. You know, we're in the new year. Like, trying to raise awareness without my voice in it, because people are trying to dismiss transphobia just because of my name being mentioned. So the platform's being given tomorrow at 8. I think it's going to be a nice discussion. Miss Natasha's going to run it. Like, she's going to ask them all questions one by one, opinions on alphabet, etc., to do with the trans community, you know, and people can ask questions in the comments, but nobody else is going to be brought up, so it's not going to be a slanging match, you know.
Speaking of alphabet issue, can I just say, right, because I don't
How
think...
dare you interrupt me as I'm in mid-flow.
Sorry, it's my ADHD.
I have it too. Medicate yourself.
I am medicated on alphabet.
Yeah, well, you need to take more, Miss Baguette.
I need to take more. Oh my God, I'll be off my head. Like, so when you said like, "Oh, come and debate me," like I'd never do that, because I'd never like disrespect you in that way.
What's this about? When have I said this to you?
I can't
Oh, Miss Baguette, my comments are, just think of my comments like this, Miss Baguette. So they come out my mouth and then they go straight in the bin, and I never think about them again. So never remember anything I say, because I like you, Miss Baguette. You know what I mean?
No, I'm the same, honestly. Like, I don't take anything, like, whatever. But I wanted to speak to Scouse Slayer because she's like a woman, like, you know, she's...
Oh, I was just using it as a pawn to wind everyone up. You knew that fine, rightly, you know what I mean? She failed me, because she was shit at it. So, you know, I don't dislike her. I like everybody, to be honest. I'm not bothered about anybody. I don't hate anybody. But, you know what I mean? Yeah,
I just wanted to have a conversation with her as someone, like, we're both the same, you know, because I don't think we both, like, have any right, really, to be speaking, and I'd never have that debate with you, because...
but can I ask a favour on the actual topic in hand? People need to stop muddying the waters with he said this one time, she's been transphobic about this one. It's not about that anymore. That's being put to the side for a wider topic, because, you know, last night some of the younger trans people were saying that I'm not backing EQ and saying that it was okay to be racist back because she got transphobia. And everyone's missing the point. It's not to back me, and it's not to do anything for me. It's to help yourselves, because I'm already in a position where I can help myself and I can combat it in the way I want. But, you know, these girls need to realise that if it's normalised like it is on TikTok, because it's the in-app at the moment, then you're going to get punched in the streets by a transphobe, and it's going to be normalised where you'll get ridiculed and it'll never stop. So, you know, to bring it up to the level of on par with racism as it is in the eyes of the law, we need to have these discussions on the app. And unfortunately, mine is the biggest voice, and my motives are not even really related to this, but it means that the trans community can get their voice out via me, and it justifies what I said at the same time, you know what I mean? So obviously that's my motive, is to justify what I said, but in order for a bigger picture to help others, as you've got to have give and take, you see. So they're going to justify what I did basically by discussing the seriousness of transphobia, but by proxy not actually agreeing with me and what I said. But unfortunately, that's the conversational route it's going to end up going down, because it is as serious as racism. So, you know, it was said to me, I responded. I didn't instantly respond either. If you actually watch the footage back, there was about 20 seconds where I didn't say a single word while I paused for thought, you know. So it didn't come instantly. I'm not a racist. I'd never be racist. And yeah, so we're going to have the discussion tomorrow, loves. And then...
Can I ask you a question then? See, after this, can we all just start a fresh start and actually just...
Yeah, I listen, once this conversation happens tomorrow, then everybody can't say that they haven't been educated, you know. Hopefully the FYP shows are there as well, and then they discuss it in the box, like Miss Red's box, like it usually would be discussed, something massive like this, because it's never been done before. So then from there, Courtney, it is a fresh slate, you know what I mean? I don't care if Torian doesn't like me or this person doesn't listen and whatever, you know what I mean? But then from there, I'm not going to ever respond in the way of racism to retaliate, because the conversation's been had. People can't claim ignorance. And then when it is said by a big creator like DG or like anybody else, Hustle, then it'll be on people's FYP shows, won't it? Because it's as severe as racism, and that'll be understood hopefully tomorrow. So yes, Courtney, this is going to end anything I'm going to say, at least. But if the people who are transphobic towards me and it doesn't get highlighted, then obviously then there's going to be an issue, isn't it? Because then everybody's letting transphobia go, and racism is a big deal still.
Yeah. I mean, you know my thoughts already. I put a post out saying that everyone should be keeping personal beef out the door and just come in and listen to your room. I mean, House of DeVille is a house mother and her voice needs to be heard.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter who's doxed whose address and who's slagged whose nose off or who's laughed at whose relationship breaking down, or that is not the point, and that's what people are not understanding. Like somebody in the chat just said, but Gigi's justified because you doxed his address. He's been saying it long before that, and it should never be said. If he was arguing with Swearing Shepherdess, would he be coming on screen going, you bloody N? You know what I mean? Just because she slagged him off, which she has in the past, you know, is he going to call Swearing Shepherdess the N-word? And that's what we need to get to the point of, is to show that he wouldn't do that for her. So he should respond to me in a way of insult or low jibes, like what I would be doing, you know, if I was like talking about those people. So it shouldn't be normalised because, oh, well, you said this, so, you know, we can get you with transphobia. No, because if I'm not committing a hate crime and I'm just laughing at you because you've done something silly on the FYP, it doesn't warrant transphobia. And AJ and myself had a little bit of beef, and, you know, I said he had crooked teeth and he said I had a crooked nose, and that was fine. And then when I was on with Mad Hatter, there was no conversation of derogatory intent towards him in that conversation. He'd retaliated already to anything I'd ever said before. So because he was highly stressed about what was going on with Mad Hatter, and somebody went into his lab and said, EQ's talking about you, but I wasn't. It was Mad Hatter. She was saying about him being a subletter, and it's not actually his property to kick her out of. And I was going, oh my God, subletting, love. And I was just messing. And then he said about, you'll always be a man, man's brain, mind of a man, blah, 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 blah. And then I paused for about 20 odd seconds. Somebody can go in time how long it was if they want, to be precise. And then I thought, I'm going to have to make a point here, because what he said, nobody will care about. And I was pretty much sick of it at that point, because I can give as much as I can take. But you shouldn't be being transphobic because it's bigger than me, because I'm not being racist to people off the cuff just because they've said something bad about me personally. If someone's skitting at me, I'm not going to then target their religion or the race and that. And people go on about Swearing Shepherdess, but Swearing Shepherdess, and you've all seen it, has been transphobic to me many times. And the footage where I say about rubbing shit on herself is because she's a dirty cow, in my opinion. It just so happens that it was said to someone who's black, but she prior in the same conversation was being transphobic towards me, only that wasn't recorded. So, you know, unfortunately, that is just what it is. If Swearing Shepherdess wants to continue to be transphobic towards me, the point was made. But anyway, it should all be put to bed tomorrow, and then nobody can claim ignorance, say, well, I didn't know. Because it's not just saying something about me. Just like if you said the N-word to a black person you didn't like. Yeah, Courtney, sorry to keep babbling. I'm on medication as well. So it makes me babble a bit. But do you know the lad who unalived those children in Southport, Courtney?
Yeah.
He was black, yeah?
Yeah.
Is anybody screaming the N-word about him just because he killed people? Because I haven't killed anybody. I haven't abused children in reality or any of those things, you know. So why is it okay to say transphobic things to me? Because I've had beefs with creators on the app and they've give as good as they got at every moment, by the way. So, but I'm villainized, you know. And
I mean,
it's like,
people were definitely...
They were proper, like...
Yeah, but then that's not okay. Like, this is what I'm trying to get at, that, yeah, I get people are shitty people, but it doesn't affect them because they might not see or hear it. It's affecting the people who are seeing and hearing it.
We're not talking about it off TikTok, by the way, everybody. We're talking about on here. Did DG go live and say that FNN who killed all those kids? Or we're not talking about the riots or anything. We're talking just app-related. So take your mind out of real life and think about the app, the creators. Are any of the creators going live saying that kid who did that in that nursery, what a black this, that and the other? They're not, are they? So keep it to the app related and not actual what goes on in fucking society, not related to this app. Transphobia is not happening out on the streets as much as it's happening on social media because people think that they can get away with it, for instance. So yeah, so I'm going to jump down now, but yeah, continue discussion. I'm sure loads more people will want to join up now after me being on to respond. Goodbye, my darlings.
Bye.
Miss Baguette.
I hope that hit before the box emptied.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, look, I don't agree with a lot of things that EQ has said, but I still think it's an interesting conversation to have. As someone who is a trans ally, I agree with the fact that they're not allowing cis women, cis men in. It should be a conversation for trans people only. It needs to happen because debate rooms don't work. So I think it is a really good. Whether you agree with EQ, this is where we need to. I know that EQ has said a lot of shitty things, but House of Deville and the other trans women and men that are joining the boxes. Well, let's not go into the whole like the cis word. God, it's just a word, guys. I'm not doing.
No, listen, right? I don't call myself a cis woman, right? But I know that, like, definitively, I am. But the only time you're ever going to be called that is if you're in a discussion that pertains to trans women as well. So
yeah,
honestly, like, if you really don't like that word, then just don't go into any discussions like that are about trans women, and you'll guarantee you will never be called that word.
Yeah, but Elle,
I've never heard that word in real life.
Sorry, Elle, but that doesn't make sense. See, if I said that no biological born women are allowed in there, but that also talks about trans men, because trans men were born biologically female. So me saying that doesn't make sense. That's why that word needs to be said. And it seems weird me saying non-trans. Like, that's me, right?
And can we just define the word biological as well? The word biological just means living. Like, if you're a biological person, it just means that you're a living person. So biological woman just means like a living woman. So that word still doesn't quite do what it's meant to do.
You don't have to accept it, but if I want to say it, I'll say it. You don't have to accept it.
It's like if you're a fat woman, you don't have to accept the word fat, but it doesn't change the fact that you're still fat. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm a fat woman.